I remember the day so clearly, like a slap in the face that still echoes in my mind. My family sat around the dinner table, eyes narrowed, voices sharp with disbelief. My father, the sternest of all, leaned forward, voice dripping with contempt. "You're wasting your time," he said. "You think you can change the world with that ridiculous pipe dream? You're an embarrassment. Just face it. You're never going to make it." He wasn't alone. My mother shook her head, muttering about how I was throwing away my future. My siblings snickered, whispering behind my back about how I was destined for failure. They called me a fool, a dreamer with no sense. I felt my face burn with shame, but underneath that, something else burned brighter, an unyielding resolve that refused to be extinguished by their scorn. That moment was the crucible that forged my future. I was an environmental engineer, obsessed with solving water pollution, trying to develop radical purification methods that challenged everything the scientific community held sacred. When I presented my ideas, I was dismissed as a quack, ridiculed as a pseudo-scientist pushing impossible theories. I was cut off from funding, mocked in professional circles, and labeled an outsider. Every rejection felt like a personal attack, like my own family's rejection was the final blow. But I refused to give up. I turned away from conventional science, pouring my heart into experimental hydrodynamics, an area many dismissed as pseudoscience. I spent sleepless nights in my garage, testing theories, building prototypes, pushing through the endless failures. I remember the countless days when nothing worked, when the ocean seemed to mock my efforts with its relentless waves, reminding me how foolish I must have looked. Yet I persisted. I knew that if I could harness the power of natural currents, I could develop affordable, scalable ocean cleaning technology, something that could truly make a difference. It was a risky gamble, but I believed in the possibility of redemption, not just for myself, but for the planet. Years passed. The road was brutal, filled with setbacks, financial struggles, moments of despair where I questioned everything. But then, slowly, things started to change. My prototype worked. It cleaned vast stretches of polluted water. I secured funding, partnerships, recognition. My technology was adopted, transforming polluted bays and rivers into thriving ecosystems. What once was barren, dead land became lush and teeming with life. I watched in awe as communities flourished, as children played in water that once was toxic. And in that moment, I knew I had proved everyone wrong. I had turned my ridiculous dream into reality. But the real victory was deeper, an internal victory. I had refused to be broken by rejection, by mockery, by the doubts of others. I had learned that persistence, resilience, and unwavering belief could turn the impossible into the inevitable. Then came the day I returned home. I had built a new life, a life where I was no longer the outsider, but a pioneer. I decided to show my family what I had become. I wanted them to see not just the success, but the transformation, the proof that dreams, no matter how dismissed, can come true. I arrived at the old family farm, now unrecognizable, The land was alive, green, vibrant, bursting with new growth. The pond that once stagnated and foul was now crystal clear, teeming with fish and waterfowl. My family gathered, their faces a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. I took a deep breath and activated the system I had set up near the pond's edge. At first, they watched in silence. Then, slowly, the water began to ripple, and a wave of clarity washed over the pond. Fish darted beneath the surface, reeds swayed, and the air filled with the scent of life. My family stared in stunned silence, faces frozen in disbelief as they saw their foolish relative's work come to life before their eyes. My father's jaw tightened. My mother's eyes welled with tears. My siblings' smug expressions faltered, replaced by awe. I felt a surge of emotion, vindication, yes, but also a profound sense of peace. I had shown them what I was capable of, not through words, but through tangible, living proof. In that moment, I understood something universal. How often we are dismissed for daring to dream differently. How society, family, even the very voices inside us that doubt, try to silence our true potential. But the true power lies in perseverance, in believing in what others deem impossible, in turning rejection into fuel. My journey taught me that failure is just a stepping stone, an essential part of growth. That resilience isn't about never falling, but about rising stronger each time we do. That the greatest victory is not just success, but the courage to stay true to oneself despite the noise of doubt. And so, I looked at my family, at their stunned faces, and I felt a deep, unshakable gratitude. Because their skepticism pushed me to prove not only that I could do it, but that dreams rooted in genuine passion and relentless effort can transform the world. I realized that sometimes the greatest lessons come from those who doubted us the most. They teach us to believe in ourselves when it matters most. As I turned to leave, I saw my father wipe his eyes, and for the first time, I saw pride instead of ridicule. And I knew that this moment wasn't just about my success. It was about breaking barriers, rewriting narratives, and proving that with enough heart, even the most ridiculous dreams can become reality. And that, my friends, is the true power of perseverance. That's the lesson I carry with me. Never let anyone define your limits, because your potential is limitless when fueled by unwavering belief. Trust in your vision, stay relentless, and one day you'll look back and realize that the greatest triumphs come from daring to be different.